futuristic in terms of it is the future of extension, engaging, and that it really brings together people and network. It is the network for extension to work together for the future, how we're going to combine our resources, unlimited resources, and get the job done across the nation.
E-extension is universal, is highly accessible, and unlimited.
I would say e-extension is engagement, a trusted resource for the public to use, and a collaborative group of university faculty, staff that can make a difference in the country and
the first word I'm thinking is integrative, because it's involving the national level of extension, not just the local level. So I think that that's really important, and I guess national is another word, and being recognizable, I think is another strong feature, and just being able to see that e-extension can supply a firm brand for extension in general and for our local extension.
Great.
As well.
Great.
A third word, I guess I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I think it's just, it makes, I'm kind of slipping, but I think it's accessibility is one of the key qualities, and just being able to access all the information that Extension has to offer.
Integrated, interactive, I want it to be that way, and engaging, and I guess challenging.
Challenging, invigorating, and exciting.
E-extension has really broadened my horizons in terms of my ability to use online resources. At LSU Ag Center we already have a content management system, so I was familiar with using that system, which is similar to the wiki format. But after coming to the conference last year, I was able to develop blogging. I definitely strengthened my Facebook presence. I created a Twitter account. I haven't really used it much, but through Facebook I've strengthened my relationships, ironically actually, with people outside of the group that I'm working with in e-extension. So with my Rice appointment, I've created a blog which has enabled my ability to, and enhanced my ability to interact with media, all kinds of ag media, so local radio and TV and print media. It's really strengthened those connections. And also I'm now using a lot of the social media to interact with farmers. And
it has really opened the network of e-extension nationally to me, and it's been able to do that online instead of going to national meetings where it's just been face-to-face, and that's been my history in 30 years. I have that opportunity to connect with people in ways that I've never connected before, to ask questions about things that I need to know about how they're doing it in another organization, to get connected to resources that we might not have. So how it really has changed is the network that I believe e-extension brings to extension in the way that we do our work and connect universally across the nation with other experts. I really value the conversations that I've had face-to-face and at these conferences today at lunch, but they were just really starting points, and that by building that conversation through e-extension, the connections we have, the people aspect. It is still people, it's still about relationships, but we do it in a different way through utilizing the resources via extension.
I think the networking with, you know, on the national level is a big part of it, and just getting involved with other people who are specialists in specific areas that I'm interested in, and just getting good resources and good contacts for where the future is going, and I think it's really important.
E-extension has made me think about the work that I do in terms of a more not general audience, but an audience that reaches across many state lines, where before my primary audience was internal to the state. And so the way you write things, the way you talk about things has to be reworded just a little bit to fit a different kind of audience. So that's one of the biggest things.
But our project is multidisciplinary project, which is a struggle to prepare one of these things, but it's been really good because I work with nutritionists and ag economists, plant pathologists, breeders, people from all different aspects of the discipline, and so all the different people that I work with have different groups of clientele that they're responding to, and so I've learned a lot as the project director about how do we tailor information to reach these different audiences, because there are different ways that people want to get their content. So by working with all the different members involved in our community practice, it's really broadened my thoughts about how to develop content and how to meet the needs of different people using these online resources. And a lot of people bring really creative ideas to the table that I would have never thought of.
It has really pushed us, as I've attended the conferences, to talk about the opportunities that we have to do things in a different way that will be the next generation learner, how we are going to approach that, how we are going to reach out to people in the future by new tools and new techniques, and challenge us to think about things we've never thought about before. People are doing, people are trying to be makers of the future together to think about how we could do things differently and attract the audience and be meaningful to new audiences that we need to reach an extension as well as our traditional audience. So I really think it pushes us as an organization to think about how we need to change to meet the future of extension's needs and to be viable and to be meaningful for the next 100 years.
There's just such a diversity of knowledge and expertise in so many different categories that I think just being around that sort of environment is really sort of helpful, and just it kind of eases your mind in a way that you're not feeling like you're all alone. So I think that's a big part.
I think e-extension is the future of extension, and that utilizing technology in new and different ways, the way that the public is interested in learning, in new modalities for learning, is the way that we need to respond to the needs of our clientele. It is all of the communities across each of our states that we're working with, and the commonalities that we have across the nation, and the issues that we have much commonality. They're very tough, wicked problems that we deal with, and we have a lot of integrated nature, and that network piece is going to be able to help us really make a difference in the communities that we all work in. It's by coming together. It's the extension network that's been part of our history, and the e-extension provides that network that we need for the future to remain viable.
Everything is interactive these days and online and on your iPhone, and I think that's where it's going, and it's going to be able to provide the user and the people that are looking for those resources an easy point of access.
I think that online interest is going to continue to grow, and so if the extension service does not meet that need, then we won't be able to survive in this kind of environment. And I think that e-extension is a really excellent vehicle to do that in, and it's even, I've even seen within the 10 months or so that our project's been funded, we have some people who didn't really do much online, and some of the people in our group didn't even use like an Excel document. And now they're using Google Knoll and all these different tools to post things online, and they're starting to see the value of developing video content and getting media out there in different ways. So I think that it's going to work with younger people that are, it might make extension service work more attractive to some of this new generation that's coming with these different types of educational backgrounds and looking at online information. So they might be more interested in going into the extension field because they can start doing more work like that in the extension world using e-extension. But also it's encouraging people that have come from a more traditional background and maybe didn't even like to adopt email are more interested in using this. And also partly because the people that they're serving want this information. Mm-hmm. So one of the project directors on our project really wanted to get on board because the people that he was working with were telling him, we don't want you to make print publications anymore. We want you to develop websites that are online. And so this was a way for him to do that. Great. By working with us. And he's been really one of the most involved people on the project. And he's doing it to respond to a need from his people that they vocalized it to him. But there are a lot of needs that we just know are out there, but people might not even know how to tell us. So this is a way that we can get that information out there.
I can't say that with any form of certainty, and it's just a guess. But I think that as we transition more and cooperative extension, as we traditionally know it, is changing and changing rapidly, that it will have to grow. Mm-hmm. I think that e-extension is another way for people to access information. I think it's something that people can find. Then you have the issues of costs and travel and postage and printing and so many other things. And it's not 5 years or 10 years from now. We're talking maybe 20 years away to where we're going to have to figure out this. And problematically, our content doesn't change and our quality information doesn't change as rapidly as technology changes. And so we're going to have to figure out a way to continue to pump out information in many different formats. But I think as the future of e-extension is that the future of e-extension is the future of extension.
Well, it's interesting, Bob Johansson's view of how the future is going to look using technology and so forth. And I think it's going to be a means to get out information to people and communicate using the social media. And I think it's going to be the wave of extension. I think the bottom line is it will save extension, because a lot of people have in the counties a perceived image of extension of being old school, and I think that having the online source and the virtual education will help change that image. We have to change.